Welcome back to Breslov campus. In lesson 73, Rebbe Nachman, he expounds on a verse in Psalms, chapter 144, where the verse reads, Alufeinu Mesubalim, which there's many translations. That's what's the thing here, is how the Gemara in several places interprets this verse. What does it mean? Alufeinu Mesubalim. So the Gemara in one place explains Alufeinu means those who teach us, because the word alufenu means le'alef, to teach. It also means aluf, like our leaders, our ministers. They're referring to tzaddikim, righteous leaders. So the Gemara says like this: when there's alufenu mesubalim, which means when there are righteous leaders, and again, there's many interpretations. First one is that alufenu are leaders and teachers in Torah, and misubalim, and they are able to sovel, they're able also to endure to do mitzvot. That's one interpretation. Another one is like this: Alufeinu, our teachers and guides and leaders in Torah and mitzvot, who are misubalim. Misubalim means like sovel, they're suffering and enduring suffering. When you have that attitude, so then the remaining of the verse, ein peretz, ein yotzet, ve'en revacha, ein tzevacha, birchovotenu. So there's no screaming, there's no breaching, there's no problems in the Jewish people. When you have this positive thing called alufeinu mesubalim, so it brings only blessing in it. There's no lacking. So the Gemara goes on to explain, what is alufeinu mesubalim? When there are righteous leaders, and they're doing their job of teaching, keeping the Torah and mitzvot, and teaching the Torah and mitzvot, and they suffer. So as a result, there is room that there won't be any improper students. The Gemara goes on to say, in Peretz, there's no one who will breach like Doeg breached. He was an evil person. He doesn't have a portion in the world to come, the Gemara says. Or Yotzet, someone who went out of the path, like Achitophel, who's someone also in the time of King David also doesn't have a portion in the world to come. And also ve'en tzevacha, which means screaming, like out of pain and fear and agony. Like Gehazi. Gehazi also was an unworthy disciple of Elisha, who also doesn't have a portion in the world to come. Meaning that there's only tzaddikim in the Jewish people when alufeinu mesubalim, when our leaders are enduring. The Gemara gives another interpretation in the Yerushalmi that is like this: alufeinu mesubalim, that when the Jewish people endure, they accept and listen to the leaders, so then you have it that there's ein peretz, ve'en yotzet, ve'en tzevacha. You don't have students who fall off the path. Another explanation the Yerushalmi brings is alufeinu mesubalim, that when our leaders sovel otanu, they endure and help us, they endure the Jewish people. In other words, when the Jewish leaders endure the difficulties in being a leader and enduring all the failures and setbacks and embarrassment and insults that they receive from the Jewish people, and they're out there still to care for them and help them, so this leads that there's no room for improper disciples. So Rebbe Nachman brings this verse, Alufeinu Mesubalim, to teach us that this is the key for every Jew being a tzaddik. If you want to be a tzaddik, even though you feel that you're not a tzaddik because of your deeds, what's required is this secret called Alufeinu Mesubalim, meaning to have proper faith in the real tzaddikim, the real teachers. This alone already is enough strength to protect you, to help you to be a tzaddik, to be a worthy disciple. What's needed is Alufeinu Mesubalim, that you endure, you're willing to accept blindly the words of the sages, you follow them without moving an inch to the right, to the left. This brushes upon the average Jew to be a tzaddik. And what does it help me to be a tzaddik? Rebbe Nachman teaches that in order to pray properly, you need such a strong, positive, and happy attitude, because only that healthy perspective is what will enable you and allow you to daven with proper concentration, that you can concentrate clearly on the words of prayer. Because if a person has a negative attitude and is sad and depressed and heavy with everything they're going through in life, with that attitude they can never, ever, ever in their dreams daven and pray with proper concentration. What's needed is a person has to be super duper positive. He has to be a tzaddik. Like the verse says also, Ve'amech kulam tzaddikim. Your nation, they are all tzaddikim. Because they guard the covenant, the Zohar says. In our context, Rebbe Nachman explains, guarding the covenant means that you guard the tzaddikim. You admire the tzaddikim. You love the tzaddikim. You want to listen to what they say, and you don't budge from what they say. When you have this secret of alufeinu mesubalim, you become an aleph. Aleph also is like the first letter of the Torah, like A. You get an A+. You are AAA, triple A. You have a top mark, and you are fitting afterwards to be able to daven properly. Because this is what's needed. A person be a tzaddik in his own eyes. That is the key to being able to daven with concentration.